Now, as I'm doing this video, NIO at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange is trading up 20%, and on the Singapore Stock Exchange it is trading up over 18%. And this comes after NIO China just announced a strategic partnership from investors of around $470 million or 3.3 billion RMB or Chinese yen, which is something that is pretty exciting. Now, before we dig deep, this is not an investment for NIO, but rather it is for NIO China, which NIO China is a subsidiary company to NIO. So for the NIO company, or for the NIO Inc., which is the one that we buy shares from, it won't bring any share dilution or whatsoever, because this is mainly, or this investment comes for just the NIO China, which is something that is pretty exciting. It's extremely bullish because it is not bringing share dilution to the NIO that we own. So these are massive news, and as a result, it is one of the main reasons why we are seeing Singapore Stock Exchange, Hong Kong Stock Exchange trading this high today. I mean, at the Singapore Stock Exchange right now, NIO is trading at $7.38, which is something that tells you of how good this investment is. I mean, Deutsche Bank already also came in and weighed or put their thoughts on the deal, and they say this is a massive deal for NIO because it strengthens their balance sheet, and it also means that investors in Hefei really see the potential onto NIO. They trust NIO, which is why they will be injecting this cash onto NIO. And 70% of this cash, or this 470 million, it is expected to be fully transacted or made to NIO by these investors by around November, whilst the other 30% will be concluded by December. So by December, NIO will have close to $500 million from investments who are investing onto this NIO China. Now, at the end of this transition, NIO China will be owning 88.3% of NIO China. Then the investors that are injecting this $170 million will be owning 11.7% of this NIO China. This therefore means that if 470 equals 11.7% of NIO China, it simply means that NIO China is worth like over $4 billion, which shows you the kind of a massive company NIO is, the big NIO that we invest in is, which is something that is just so amazing, so incredible to see. Once again, seeing investors coming and putting their money onto NIO. This is not the very first time, this is not the last time we'll see transitions like this. I mean, the last transition, if I remember well, it was coming from the Chinese government fund, who injected over $200 million into NIO Power to help NIO build infrastructure, and I think also make their headquarters of NIO Power in the area where the investment comes from, which again, from that investment, we were able to conclude, or we were able to see that NIO Power is currently, it was valued at around $2 billion around that time, because I think the 200 million which was injected or invested by those investors buying a stake or putting money into NIO Power, it was less than 10% or around 10%, as said by the NIO CEO, which shows you that if $200 million is 10%, then 2 billion, it means that it is the total value that which that company is valued at. Same goes to NIO China. NIO China, because of this $470 million, which equates to roughly 11% or 11.7% of NIO China, it therefore means NIO China, which is a subsidiary of the NIO that we invest in, it's worth like $4.3 billion. This is something that is pretty exciting, and it is not the first time we see investors in Hefei or coming in and wanting to inject money into NIO. You'll know that we had a similar situation back in 2020, where NIO receive some financial assistance from Hefe, which is something that was pretty exciting, that deal. It is something that went well, and NIO ended up also buying back or purchasing back those shares from those investors, which was absolutely great, because it made NIO to regain the shares which they had sold or given to those investors. So these $470 million are massive bullish news, because they also increase our cash in hand. NIO can be able to do more projects, NIO can be able to grow, which is something that is just so incredible, amazing to see NIO be continuing to attract such investment. I mean, some of the people, after this deal was announced, they thought it brings a share dilution to the NIO we invest in. They did not realize that these $470 million is for NIO China, and not the NIO that we invest in. As NIO China, it is a subsidiary, of course, to the NIO that we own. So no dilution at all. I mean, these investments also waves away maybe the potential of NIO that we own diluting the shares by introducing more shares, which is something that, of course, as investors in this current situation, we don't want to see, which is something that knowing that it's not coming, this does not bring any share dilution to our NIO that we invest. It is something that is just so amazing, incredible to see and know that this is bringing $470 million or 3.3 billion RMB. It is coming to NIO, and it won't affect or have a negative impact onto us as investors, but rather it's all positive vibes, because NIO just got 500 or almost 500 billion worth of investment to help them grow their business, to help them do more ventures, which is what we want to see. And this, as a result, will pay back or will pay out to us as the investors, and we look forward to that. So otherwise, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this. I think these are massive bullish news. Do your own due diligence. NIO, it is quite a volatile stock price is volatile, but again, you will remember that on the video I did yesterday, I did say that I'm expecting, before the news, I'm hoping NIO can continue with the uptrend or surging, which this news they just bring that, or just it might introduce a short squeeze this week, which will make NIO stock price to continue rally, to continue surging, which is something that is just so incredible, amazing to see. Otherwise, that's all from me. I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.